Now, guys, petrol. Tomorrow there will be about a dozen service stations which are going to do cut price petrol again in Sydney. They're going to be selling it for less than $1. Last time this happened, there were traffic queues and madness. These people that are running this, an independent service station, are now stars. They've been in the media every day, and the NRMA's decided to jump on this today just to perhaps make this a little bigger than it actually is. This is the NRMA.
The Alcuris are heroes. Sunnyholt Road is now a battleground, and the NRMA has the Alcuris back. We're in this fight with them.
Look, I like the idea of cheaper petrol, but to suggest that this is the global war on terror or they are the new front of it is perhaps a bit much. Jason, this is going to cost them 20 grand every time the media push them into this stunt.
And discount the NRMA here. They had nothing to do with this, apart from the fact that they went out there and did the press conference, and there happens to be an NRMA election on right now. But good on these people. They're trying, and this is a panic response from people who have got the gun to the head, and they're doing this full principle. And I spent some time out there when they did it the first time, and they're genuine people who are being screwed, absolutely screwed by companies, and this is their cry for help. They did it even last time without any publicity. They just decided to spring it on, and word spread. Yeah. And good on them. I'm with them.
The motivation seems obvious, but obviously, Melissa, if this is going to cost them $20,000 and they're going to do it every week between now and I don't know when, that's an awful lot of cash for a small business.
It's not good for business. I mean, it's you have to commend them for doing it, and fantastic the couriers are doing it, but really, it's a one-hit wonder. It's sort of, well, great, it's great for a day, but it's not going to prolong a business. So I think it just really has to be rethought about again if they plan to do it again.
John, do people call you every day saying, I love this, what a wonderful idea? Or what
I don't think so. You generally get people who are complaining that they were in the queue and the petrol price went up before they could get in.
Oh, yeah.
What you're going to find is a lot of people tomorrow will queue up, they'll fill up, they'll go and slap them on the back and say, terrific, thank you very much for the cheap petrol. But later in the week, when the company station down the road is discounting, they'll just drive straight past the Alcuris and fill up down there. So I think people aren't doing it because they're supporting small business. They're doing it because the price is cheaper.
So why, with petrol being as high as it is, we all know how much excise there is. We all know that if a certain interest group gets together, a government does something about it. Yeah. I mean, every motorist in Australia asking for an excise cut would probably have a greater impact than a dozen service stations for an hour, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but this is deeper than that. These people have to buy their fuel at roughly the price that the bloke up the road that's owned by Coles or Woolworths, yes, you, will get the transcript in the morning and they're like this, they are mad about it, they hate any criticism about it, but they are paying for petrol for the same price that they have to sell it to be competitive. That's absurd. And, I mean, here we have governments of all persuasions, politicians of all different shapes and sizes that want to jump up and down and say, oh, competition, competition. Not one's come out and backed these people. The local member, I think, is either nearby, is the Minister for Competition, and he's not even, saying anything. This is absurd.
What should they do?
What they should do is at least read the message that is within what these people are doing and act on it.
And do what?
Actually say, and start to challenge companies like Coles and Woolworths and say, how is it possible that you can be receiving the fuel at this price and your arrangements with the oil companies have these poor buggers out there where they have to pay the price?
They've been holding inquiries, they've been talking about this for years.
Well, they've got to talk about it.
What do you want them to do?
I want that addressed.
Yeah, but they've addressed it. They've had inquiries, they've looked into it.
They haven't addressed it.
They've looked into it.
They haven't.
So
we've got a competition and commission
like
that apologises for these companies. That's absurd.
Do you think that nothing can be done or nothing will be done?
Well, I think Gary Punch, I spoke to Gary Punch today, and look, he is campaigning for the NRMA board, so the NRMA involvement in this is very much about the NRMA election, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But I spoke to him today, and he says he can change part of the competition laws which deal with the word understanding. So rather than collusion, you talk about an understanding, because the truth is, have we had any person emerge, any single person emerge to tell us, I was in the control room when they were changing petrol prices? Because if it was such a massive conspiracy, there would be people that would come forward and say, I was there when it happened. But they haven't, have they? I can't remember anyone.
So it doesn't happen.
All I'm saying is there's no evidence of it that we've been able to put our finger on. We all think it's happening, but it must be a very secretive conspiracy because no one has put their hand up and said, here it is, here's the evidence. Or, you know, you think a Current Affair would give someone money to go in and do a filming of the secret camera as they were moving the prices.
The ACCC would show it's serious about it and not come out with report after report and statement after statement that says absolutely nothing about something that's glaringly obvious to every person that buys petrol.
Yeah, but they have inquiries and people can come along and they can come along in camera and give evidence, and no one has that said, I've seen this happening, here's the evidence.
Right, now, Melissa, you know, the happy consumer, obviously lost in all of this.
Well, no, I mean, more simplistically, I mean, I love it when all of these sort of petrol stations have these, you know, great petrol sales. You have to then stay in a queue for 2 hours. The petrol you are then wasting while staying in this queue for 2 hours. Hello, isn't? I mean,
with the air conditioning going.
The air conditioning's going. You get to the end of the queue, and then sorry, we're all out. So I just think it's this sort of double-edged sword. Why spend all this time in this queue to maybe save a couple of cents? Because even, you know, no matter what sort of budget you're on, I just think it's really a bit of a waste of the time for a lot of people.
I'll ask Jason one question which has just been raised by Steve as a text recently. He wants to know, how is allowing a family petrol station to bankrupt itself on a whim good for long-term competition? That's Steve's question.
Well, there's a lot of them doing it now. There's 12...
Yes, 12 doing it tomorrow.
In Sydney.
Only one in Melbourne.
It is symbolic, and it's waking up people that couldn't give a damn about this issue normally to the fact that there is an issue here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think these people have got to be heard, and at the moment there's not many people in the media that want to hear this stuff.
It's awful that you have to be reheard and then potentially go bankrupt.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a good way to do it.
Yeah, I think there's a longer-term question here that, you know, while petrol prices remain where they are, we're going to have more pressure for hybrid cars, electric cars, the cars of the future. So we won't have to drive around with petrol-driven cars, and the air will be cleaner, and there'll be fewer kids with asthma. So that's not a bad thing, is it?
I love a smackdown. I love a smackdown.
What is it?
Yeah, I love a smackdown. We'll have another one a little later.
Just see that again slowly, but I'm with you.
It does make some sense if you think about it.
We'll get some flowcharts for everyone. I'm loving this show. You can text us at any time if you want to fire up as much as we are here on the show. 0409 180 140.